A lot of people are worried about democracy, the future of democracy, the state of democracy. Part of that's tied to Silicon
Wait, we
Valley.
have democracy?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, are you? My question is, are you worried about democracy?
Where? We have a two-party system, which generally means that like issues get assigned in a semi-random manner into one bucket or the other, and then you're sort of, like forced to pick one bucket. Or like there's two punch bowls and they both have turds in it, and which one has the least amount of turds? It tends to be the case, if you ask me.
The ability of people to get the right information and have the ability to express themselves at the ballot box. And are you worried about that?
Black Americans were denied full citizenship voting rights until 1965.
I guess things are going okay in the grand scheme of things,
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We've got a full schedule of videos today. It is Friday, May 6th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, it looks like the establishment, so to speak, is pushing back, is trying to do everything it possibly can to stop Elon Musk from purchasing Twitter. I think we all know exactly why that is, but so that we could all be on the same page, it's because it works and has worked for the establishment for the past numerous years. The modern left is afraid that they will lose a valuable tool in their reelection campaigns. That's exactly how our government views Twitter. It views it as a tool to use to gain more power. It's the same way they use Facebook, YouTube, everything else. So YouTube to a lesser extent, I believe. But, look at how much money Mark Zuckerberg is investing in elections just to make sure he doesn't get called up. There's all these suddenly Section 230 matters. Suddenly a billionaire owning a communication tool is a huge problem, even though, Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey were never a problem before. It's so blatantly obvious. It makes me want to facepalm repeatedly. But now Elon Musk's Twitter takeover is facing FTC antitrust review, and I believe it's due to advocacy, left-wing advocacy groups pushing for it. And it's actually getting pretty insane. Before we get into the full story, though, I want to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, me. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, I've spent the better part of the last 5 years covering companies who have gotten woke and eventually gotten broke, lamenting how major companies like Disney or even ice cream makers or comic books have at best become politically divisive and at worst outright attack their own customers.
Sexism in gaming.
Here we go again.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Well, I've sat on the sidelines long enough, and I've decided that I was going to put my money where my mouth was and get into the game. Introducing Coffee Brand Coffee. Coffee Brand Coffee is built by creating digital trade partnerships with many coffee producers that use sustainable coffee growing standards. These producers are concerned with soil prevention, clean water practices, and maintaining a quality standard of living for their workers. By paying a premium price for my quality and sourcing from small farms and co-ops that focus on sustainability, market forces will lead to the best situation for growers, roasters, and coffee lovers. And most importantly, we feel that this dedication to quality should be obvious when you have Coffee Brand Coffee in your cup. Right now, we're launching with 5 of our most solid blends. From light to dark roast, whatever you like, Coffee Brand Coffee has what you need for coffee. We don't want your votes, we just want your business, and we want to do whatever we can to earn it and keep it for a long time. To celebrate our grand opening, I've got a special promo code, The Quartering, in the description, in the link and pinned comment down below. Support apolitical companies, give my coffee a try, let me know what you think, and I appreciate your continued support. Coffee Brand Coffee is owned by me. I'm supporting fellow YouTubers via sponsorships. My coffee, I believe, is excellent, and I hope that you'll give it a taste. Maybe it's been a while since you had some coffee, or you're looking for possibly a change. I think I've got something for you. I'm also working on cocos and teas which should be available in the coming weeks. Check out the website at the link in the description. Now, Elon Musk's Twitter takeover faces FTC antitrust review after left-wing group that used to employ the agency's chair claimed the deal, quote, posed a, quote, immediate threat to American democracy. Again, after left-wing group that used to employ the FTC's chair claimed that it posed an immediate threat to American democracy. Do you think this would be happening if some left-wing nut job was buying it? No. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission is reportedly reviewing Elon Musk's $44 billion Twitter buyout for a potential antitrust concern. Now, this isn't uncommon. Antitrust is a real thing. It just seems like it's only ever explored when politically expedient. The FTC now has 30 days to consider the deal and decide whether to issue a second request to look into the matter further. Although most experts believe there are zero antitrust concerns that could block a takeover, according to Bloomberg. However, the anti-monopoly activist group, Open Markets Initiative, where Democratic FTC chair Lina Khan used to work, has urged the agency to block the deal, saying that it poses an immediate and direct threat to American democracy and free speech. Doesn't it feel like sometimes we're on completely different planets? Like, how does Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, first of all, have any impact at all on democracy, unless you consider democracy the status quo of what many think is far left-wing political bias on a valuable communications tool? So are you saying that people being able to speak freely amongst each other about issues, that's the threat? Are you saying that people not being shadow banned and an open source algorithm, that's the threat to free speech? All this stuff is so blatantly partisan. It's ridiculous, and it's happening right in front of us. Representative Jim Jordan, the top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee, on Wednesday issued a letter raising concerns about the FTC's antitrust probe and suggested he planned to investigate. Good. Jordan expressed concern about the statements by Open Markets Institute, which I bet you, I wonder who funds them. We'll probably have to look into that. I bet you'd be some familiar names, which he called an extreme left-wing political advocacy organization, and its call for the FTC to stop the deal. We are concerned that the OMI, where you were previously employed as legal director, may be trying to leverage its close relationship with you to take action to further limit free speech online, wrote Jordan in a letter to Khan. OMI appears to believe that the FTC will be receptive to its cavalier effort to influence a federal agency that is run by a former employee. I absolutely believe it, and I think maybe I would argue that maybe it looks that way. It looks like it worked that way. The fact that it wasn't dismissed out of hand. On what planet is there antitrust concerns? If nothing else, this helps break things up more than it was before. Jordan then asked the FTC to preserve all records relating to its review of the Twitter deal, suggesting that he may be planning to investigate the matter further. Khan was the legal director from 2017 to 2018 at the OMI, which describes itself on the website as, quote, working to address threats to our democracy, individual liberties, and our national security from today's unprecedented levels of corporate concentration and monopoly power. Jordan, of course, has backed Musk's purchase of Twitter in hopes that some conservatives, like former President Donald Trump, who were removed from the social media platform, would be able to return. There's little expectation that Musk's potential purchase of Twitter will be rejected by antitrust enforcers. I agree, but the concern is that they're even looking into it. This is clearly a quid pro quo. This is a back scratch. This is cronyism. How about the FTC looks into the algorithm on Instagram? How about the FTC looks into what's going on TikTok? How about the FTC looks into the monopoly that exists between the Google Play Store and the iTunes Store, and how they use their power to block competition? I mean, these are all issues that most people would agree are important. the FTC doesn't seem to care. While Musk has tweeted about free speech when he discusses his plans for Twitter, they are focused on helping the company make more money by getting more people to use it or cutting expenses like executive pay. Good. He has said nothing publicly about allowing for banned users to return to the platform. The FTC reportedly is also investigating Musk's initial purchase of the 9% stake in Twitter, probing whether he complied with antitrust reporting requirement when he acquired shares in early April. There was something where he was like supposed to send a letter or something like that when he bought all those shares, and he didn't. I'm not sure, that I think it's a huge deal, but the fact that they're even going to review it is insane. If we look at the actual Bloomberg article, which is the people that broke it, it looks like, everybody keeps sourcing it. I don't understand what there even is to review here. This is just political. Now, under U.S. merger law, Musk is required to notify the FTC and the Justice Department of the transaction and wait at least 30 days before closing to allow them to investigate. The FTC can ask for additional information, issuing what's known as a second request, which would further delay closing. An FTC spokesperson declined to comment. Spokespeople for Twitter and Musk also did not respond to any request for comment. Antitrust experts do not expect the deal to raise any kind of antitrust concern. However, Open Markets, the anti-monopoly nonprofit group where Democratic FTC Chair Lina Khan got her start in antitrust, has urged the agency to block the deal, arguing that it would give Musk too much control over free speech platforms. Musk also owns Starlink, a satellite-based internet provider operated by Space Exploration Technologies Group, which is being used to provide internet to, well, they say Ukraine, but everywhere. I have Starlink. When I'm moving, it'll be my primary internet. Gonna have to lower that bit rate on my video quality. I think I'll be able to do it because it's pretty static, so it'll be okay. The FTC is also separately probing him there too, but this is insider stuff, isn't it? It's sketch. The day after Twitter's board of directors agreed to sell Twitter to Elon Musk, the Open Market Institute, an extreme left-wing political advocacy organization, called on Biden regulators at the FTC, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Justice Department to block the purchase. Jordan, a Republican of Ohio, wrote in the letter sent to Khan on Wednesday and obtained by Fox Business. We are concerned that OMI, where you were previously employed as legal director, may be trying to leverage that. Lynn went on to say that Open Markets believes the deal violates existing law and that the FCC, DOJ, and FTC have ample authority to block it. Jordan wrote in his letter to Khan that OMI appears to believe that the FTC will be receptive to its cavalier effort to influence a federal agency that is run by its former employee. It is true that the Biden FTC is moving to promote progressive values and undermine capitalism and threaten innovation, the Ohio lawmaker continued. And under your leadership, the Biden FTC has sought to recast antitrust law into a tool to enable government to control capitalism, which disrupts free markets and is inconsistent with fundamental American freedoms. Perhaps this is why OMI seems to think they may have a friendly ear in the FTC. Absolutely called out. Jordan asked Khan whether she or anyone else at the FTC played a role in drafting OMI's statement and whether the agency had taken any actions in response to the group's call to stop Musk to purchase Twitter. He also formally requested the chairwoman save any and all agency records pertaining to the deal. Khan has a lengthy history of urging the federal government to go after big tech firms and regulate the power. She has become the head of the FTC. Tech behemoths Facebook and Amazon both asked that she be removed from any involvement in the agent's antitrust litigation against the companies, alleging that she has a clear bias against them, and that is well documented. Well, she's a far left winger. I don't know why she would have a problem with Facebook. It's so insane how this is just happening right in front of us. The corruption is right there, and thank goodness Elon's there to bring it to light. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you get a chance before the weekend, make sure you check out coffeebrandcoffee.com. Give it a try. My favorite is the light roast 002. This is Ethiopian beans. It's super smooth. We're working again on adding teas and some rock sugar and cocos, which you'll see coming up over the next couple weeks. But we've got 5 blends to start. I bet you'll like at least one of them. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.